Before 1860, Mount Lebanon was part of the Ottoman Empire. It was governed under a system called the Qa'im Maqamiyya, which divided the mountain into two districts, a Maronite-led north and a Druze-led south. At first, this may have seemed like a practical solution, but in reality, it failed to create lasting stability. Tensions between communities kept growing, and social, political and sectarian conflict became harder to contain. Then came 1860. Violence erupted in Mount Lebanon, and the crisis soon spread beyond it, reaching Damascus. What began in the mountain no longer looked like a local conflict. It had become a regional emergency. The Ottoman Empire struggled to control the situation alone. As a result, several European powers, especially France, Britain, Russia, Austria and Prussia stepped in. They reached an agreement with the Ottoman Empire that allowed European troops to be sent to Ottoman Syria to restore order. So the intervention itself took place in Syria, but it was driven in large part by the crisis that had started in Mount Lebanon. France led the expedition and provided half of the troops. Even though this intervention was presented as temporary, its impact was much greater. It showed that the future of Mount Lebanon was no longer being shaped only by local actors or by the Ottoman state. European powers now had a direct role in deciding what would come next. And what came next was the Reglement Organique. The first draft was prepared on the 1st of May 1861, and the final agreement was reached on the 9th of June 1861. This new system gave Mount Lebanon a special status within the Ottoman Empire. Under this arrangement, Mount Lebanon became a mutasarrifate, governed by a non-Lebanese Ottoman Christian governor, appointed by the Ottoman Porte and accepted by the European powers. The idea was to place the mountain under a ruler who would seem more neutral and less tied to local rivalries. The governor did not rule alone. He was supported by an administrative council representing the main religious communities of Mount Lebanon. The aim was to restore order, reduce conflict, and prevent another catastrophe like the one in 1860. The system did not solve everything. It did not erase tensions, and it did not end foreign influence, but it did create a more stable political structure that lasted for decades. Between 1861 and 1920, the Mutasarrifate gave Mount Lebanon a distinct political identity inside the Ottoman Empire. In that sense, the Reglement Organique was more than a reform. It was a turning point, a response to violence, a product of international pressure, and one of the foundations of modern Lebanon.